His name is Efrag Sentum and Torque, the DBT Torque guy. I've seen Torque play, I think. I'm not sure about the other one, but
All right.
I can lead us into this one if you want.
Yeah, go for it.
Alright, cool. Alright, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pool bringing you some StarCraft 2 action with my good friend Senex. How are you doing today,
I'm
Senex?
doing absolutely fantastic. We've been just watching game after game, casting them all, going to be posting them up, and we actually have a live stream going right now. The very first time I've ever been live streamed. Save the date.
Yeah, absolutely awesome stuff to seen coming from this. Just to think, like a week or two ago, it was just a post on TL, which I mean is a very interesting and detailed post. But the idea of having 6 mineral or 7 mineral in one gas, just less mineral per base maps, was just basically a brainchild of Baron, and now we can kind of see it coming into fruition. We've got some casting, we've got some awesome players playing it, and I'm really excited to see what happens with this.
Yeah, I do think that there is just going to be a lot of attention that eventually gets put on this variant, and we've already seen that people who have been in contact with Blizzard employees, the Blizzard has said they are listening. They're paying a lot of attention to the community, and if we're able to get a just big popular groundswell going for the play that these kind of maps provide, they will take a serious look at what it offers for Heart of the Swarm.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm really excited to see what Blizzard does. If anything, I think that there are things to be learned from this map style. If they don't choose to go for it, there's definitely some stuff that Blizzard can learn. It's just like, yeah, I don't know, just like the way that macro works in SC2, obviously players are starting to get a little bit bored with it, and I can honestly say that I have at some times gotten quite bored with how it works.
Yeah,
But, go ahead.
Well, the temptation for building up a death ball off of just a couple bases is really hard to overcome when it's so easy. You pretty much just need 3 bases, maybe a 4th one, and you're going to be able to max out your army supply, lose the whole army, and max it out again at least once. And so why would you bother trying to split your army, hold 5, 6 bases across the map, and really get a lot of small engagements going on when it's just more effective for you overall to be using the more limited number?
Yeah. So we do see our Terran player here going ahead and getting a refinery now. We'll remind you guys that that is a high yield gas, so that does mean he's getting more gas per SCV. I think that's how it works at least.
Yeah, they get 6 every trip.
Yeah, so he's getting more gas, possibly more than he does need. He might not be used to this, but he could be going for a reactor factory, reactor Italian build. I'm not entirely sure what he's going to be doing. It does look like we are seeing a factory though.
And the reactor is going up right now. That's actually a really interesting timing. He took that high-yield gas at the exact right time so that he would have 150 gas right as he wanted it to build that reactor and the factory, but he's not pulling off of it, so I have to wonder if a starport's going to be coming up after this, because there's really nothing else for him to spend the money on.
It's very likely. I've actually seen quite a few games where MMA chooses to go for a reactor barracks, reactor factory, or at least one on one of them, as well as a starport, and does a pretty good drop harassment early in the game. So it could be what our Terran player is doing for this game.
Yeah, right now we see just a little bit of harassment going on in the natural. I think it's going to get cleaned up very easily and just immediately canceled. The Zerglings were already on their way out, so there was just nothing that one bunker was going to be able to do, not even being complete.
Yeah, that's going to be setting our Terran player behind by about, what is it? I guess he lost 25 minerals during that, actually. And he is behind by 75 minerals right now, so. And honestly, guys, losing 75 minerals in this map style is a lot more than losing it in the other one. Of course, you know, it's not too bad, but, you know, 75 minerals are just becoming more, well, I guess sparse, you would say.
Yeah, when you have 25% less resources per base, you'll notice things like, for example, we're at 5 minutes and 37 seconds into the game right now. We have 4 Zerglings on the field. Could be 7 Zerglings. So actually, he did just lose one. What was going on there? Yeah, and these 2 Hellions could be 3 if he didn't have that failed bunker play potentially.
Indeed. So our Terran player going to be doing some excellent scouting with his Hellions, as they should be doing. Going to control the watchtower and basically keep Zerg from knowing what's going on. I would like to see some Marines on the edge of Terran's base once he gets them out there to deny any Overlord scouting. Now, his second base is almost finished here, and no doubt he will be either lifting that up or going ahead and morphing it right away into an orbital command.
He's very, very smartly moving it over. I love that Terran players are
Yeah.
starting to figure that out. Right now, he has just way too many miners trying to get at too few mineral patches. So by moving it over, he only loses a small amount of energy, and all of the workers he main artists over will immediately become worthwhile.
Now it does look like our Terran is moving in here with his Hellions, gonna try to go for some drones, but actually decides to retreat, decides that it's not gonna be quite worth it at this point in the game.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that one queen at the top, I would say that he should run directly into the main, because once you get past this narrow opening choke, it's pretty easy to get, there's a lot of room essentially for the Hellions to run around it, but because of that one very, very well-placed queen, our Zerg player does not have to worry about that kind of attack.
Now it does look like your Terran is going to go ahead and add on 2 more racks. This is very standard play for Terran plays. This is the exact build that I do most commonly on the ladder. So pretty cool to see it moving on to this different type of variant.
He does have a very unfortunate supply block going now. He's building up to like
Oh, yeah.
300, 400 minerals and a whole bunch of gas because he has not pulled guys off of that gas. He has 2 supply depots that are only just now completing, so he's going to need to begin producing immediately, or at least getting like probably reactor and a tech lab so that he can begin eating into that bank.
Yeah, and it does look like, I don't know if you saw that, but our Terran player took out quite a few Zerglings. Zerg player making a little bit of a blunder by chasing down those Hellions.
Yeah, actually, I managed to miss that, but it does put our Zerg player at a pretty significant disadvantage. Right now, he doesn't have, you know, units, that thing that you want to attack your enemy with. He has nothing going for him. He has 2 queens and a whole bunch of drones who he should probably just pull all of them and move them across. No, he shouldn't do anything along those lines at all. I do like that he is maintaining a very consistent macro lead. It's 44 drones to 32 SCVs, which means with the 2 mules, he's probably about even, and he's just left that 1 queen in place. Brilliantly done. But a hive? How did I miss the fact that a hive was going up so early? What's he doing? He's doing
my
2
gosh.
base ultralisks.
This is fantastic. I am so excited about seeing this. I hope it works just because it's amazing.
I wish I could see the
Wow.
eyes on the Terran player when those first ultralisks pop out and he just goes like, what?
This is going to be so cool. I am so stoked to see this. Man, this is just like so unique. I don't think I've ever seen a 2-base ultra this early. And you know, he could totally do it right now because the timing for Terran to push out with the build is about once you have about 4, well actually he might be pushing out right now, once you have about 4 siege tanks, which he does have 3, and does he have stim? No, he doesn't have stim, but he will be finishing up his combat shield.
It is
And-
going to be pretty hard for him to deal with those 3
Yeah.
siege tanks, though. They deal a lot of damage when they are not sieged up, and if they all start focus firing the 1 ultralisk who's currently on the way, I have a lot of fear for our Zerg player right now. The supply
Yeah.
is starting to speak for itself. He's actually supply blocked, unfortunately, with 6 overlords on the way. If only that wasn't true, he might be able to hold off his attack, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it with seeing what he has.
Yeah, this is probably a really unexpected timing that for the Zerg player. Not really expecting Terran to attack this early. I know that I don't usually do that, but Terran is going to be coming in here, and it looks like he's going to commit to this attack. And like you said, there's only 1 ultra out, and that's definitely not going to be enough to deal with this attack.
Yeah, if it was just the Marines, because they the Ultralisk has such high... Well, actually, no, he doesn't even have the Ultralisk armor upgrade ready yet, so right now, things are just looking terrible for the Zerg player. He really needs something like a Baneling Nest, or at least 1 Infestor, to try to deal AoE damage to these Marines, but ultimately, it doesn't look like he has anything going for him. He does have 2 more Ultralisks in the way. So as time goes on, it's getting better and better for him. His tech lead will begin to translate into a superior army, but if the Terran player moves in, and it does look like he's starting to send in small pokes, he's going to be able to punish the Zerg player for getting too aggressive with this.
Oh man, and he does know the ultras are out. These siege tanks are targeting down that ultra right now. Zerglings are moving in here to try to get some surrounds on the tanks. Just managed to take out 1 tank. However, there are still 3 left. Now the Zerglings are going to clear up this attack. Wow, and the ultralist, there is 1 ultra and 3 in production right now.
That was
Oh my
mind-blowing! I
God.
can't believe that that actually worked!
That
Look
is
at the
so
supplies
cool.
now. It's totally turned around. We have 88 supply versus 71. A whole bunch of Ultralisks on the field. If he had like enough energy for 1 transfuse to make that guy just max out, I think
Yeah.
that the counterattack potential here would be ridiculous. Looks
Yeah,
like he's
it
going
would
for
be
it anyway, though.
insane.
He doesn't care.
Yeah, he's like, whatever, I got 3 ultras, and it's about 13 minutes into the game, you're going down. So we will see if this attack does manage to last, or break through the Terran's defenses. And to be honest, I think it very well could.
These Ultralisks do have 3 armor, though he's either going for a brilliant surround or is totally screwing up and messing up his armor. It looks like it was a bit more of a mistake. Though with this number of Zerglings moving into support, I think our Terran player's in a ton of trouble. He's not able to get any kind of damage in on those Zerglings and begin to clear them out. Planetary Fortress isn't even close to done, and Ultralisk deals so much damage versus armored units.
Yeah, and these SCVs are just going to get completely owned by our Zerg player, being forced to lift off that 3rd base there and putting Terran greatly on the defense. There are 2 tanks up, one of them is almost completely dead, and it looks like Zerg is going to be moving in here with his Ultras, going for the bio units as well as the tank when he gets next to it. And Zerg is moving in here as well, going for Marines and Marauders, and it looks like Zerg is going to manage to, I don't know, it's kind of close. I think he will be able to clear it up,
Every one of these Ultralisks that goes down is an enormous loss, but they're not going down. They have 3 armor base, which means that every Marine that fires at them with doing only 7 damage only does 3 damage to them. That means it takes like 140 shots to kill an Ultralisk.
Wow, impressive math skills there, Senex.
Something like that. It was very rough. I think it's like
no, I think you're about right.
30 something. Yeah. Anyway, before I embarrass myself with my B- in algebra.
B- is nothing to be worried about. I think in like geometry, I probably failed that. It's just so sad.
Oh, that's too
saddest days of my life. Anyways, it was WoW's fault. You know how that goes. Anyways, so it does look like your Zerg player is choosing to retreat, and I think that's relatively smart. He's done a good job of denying the 3rd base, and has managed to get 1, 2, 3 bases on their way. One of them's completed, so I guess it'll be 2 more on the way, moving him up to 5 bases.
Yeah, when we just look at the comparative macro between the players, it's 16 SCVs versus 39 drones. And even though that's definitely not enough drones to fully saturate all of these bases, it's way more than he needs to continue just completely outmassing the Terran player. However, we do have a big attack here, and I don't really like that. The Zerglings were pretty clearly just kind of not on hold position and tried to get us around on those stimmed bio units that are now up to 2-1, so he is catching up on the upgrades, and the Zerglings got eaten alive.